So, some breaking news, guys. It does seem that Matthew is going to be speaking out. Is this time? Is this what Phillip is dreading for? Or is there some coercion involved? Hey guys, it's Murad. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Back again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button. It's just one click. Subscribe to the channel. Please inject it and let's get straight into this video. So we all know what's happened with Phillip and etc, etc, etc. I don't have to really go into it, but this is a fresh new update on what is happening, and it looks like Matthew is going to be probed by a barrister as an external investigation and is going to be having his say. So what is he going to say? This morning runner, who was in a relationship with then married star, will be questioned about the relationship by barrister Jane Mulcahy, who was conducting the inquiry. Interesting. ITV's chief executive said that the young man was questioned 12 times, but sources close to the man say he was never actually asked about it and predict that the upcoming inquiry will finally give him a chance to give his side of the story. They've kept in touch with the man, apparently ITV, and there will be a very thorough investigation where many people close to the situation will be asked questions. It will be his chance to have his say. It could be most definitely lead to some difficult readings for ITV bosses if it turns out that he says he wasn't asked about the relationship 12 times. Discussions are taking place to plan an overhaul of the once popular program. After ratings slipped to just over 500,000, it can be revealed. In terms of, this morning and the low ratings. So it looks like he's going to be questioned, but because it's going to be external investigation, let me double check. Was it going to be external or internal? It's going to be as part of ITV's external investigation. Like, what are they going to say? Because if it's going to be an investigation that is directly correlated with the corporation that Phillip worked with, it's going to be objectively biased in some kind of way. And I do feel like there is going to be some coercion from Phillip's side. He's very aware that this boy is now going to speak out. Young man now is going to speak out. And also Phillip is paying for this man's lawyers, allegedly. That's also what is going around. So, and they're apparently working for pro bono. So that is that level of coercion that we're seeing from Phillip and his side, is that he's using his money to utilize still control over Matthew, to be like, I'm paying for your lawyers. They're definitely going to work for me really more than they are for you. And also, is there going to be coercion from anybody else that, Matthew, don't speak out and say anything bad about us? Is he going to be slipped in a way that is going to be unfortunate? Basically, is this going to be really an investigation, or is it going to be something just to make Phillip look better? That is what I believe it might be. I feel like if we're going to do an investigation, it has to be totally unrelated to the corporation. Other people need to do it to really eliminate any biases, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll just see what Matthew says, because I don't think that the corporation would reveal elements that would put them in a bad standing. I just don't think that they would, especially if the corporation themselves have said, we've questioned him 12 times. If he comes out and says that, I don't see how they would allow that to go public. I don't know, because he hasn't gone public in the past couple of weeks, but clearly he is willing to speak if he's going to be probed, and he's accepted the probing. So it's not like he doesn't want to speak. Perhaps there is some coercion or something, whatever. Yes, I'm still speaking about this Phillip stuff because grooming of underage boys is very important. It gets glossed over and happens more often than especially in the UK, especially in America, and it's a topic of conversation that is overlooked massively. And to me, it is quite frustrating, very frustrating on several different elements. I don't like how grooming is, underhanded. It's not really considered. And then when these boys who are groomed, they have to then fend for themselves and, put themselves in scenarios, environments, or, like Matthew, his career has been ruined. And it's just very unfortunate when it comes to grooming and what takes place. I also, I don't like it when people say, this is just such a random point, but I don't like it when people say Asian grooming gangs. That really bothers me because we've racialized it. And there are multiple people from different races who all groom. And when you use those terms, which I've seen people say and use, you then put someone like me who's been groomed as a minor, who's been, significantly sexually abused as a minor, associated with that stereotype. You've put a victim into a stereotype of somebody who is a harmful abuser, and that's not fair for the young brown boys in London, in the UK. And I feel like that stereotype is massively there, when rather you can say these people were grooming XYZ, or these people did XYZ. It immediately becomes racialized, and I don't like that term. It's very destructive. It's very damaging for victims like me, because, well, not that I like to be seen as a victim, sorry, but I like at that point of time when I was a minor. So I just want to clarify that. But I feel like, you know, especially for the young brown boys who are currently in my position when I was a young minor, it just gets masked over, and they're all put under the same umbrella, and it's very dangerous to do that. So, and I'm speaking from a significant level of experience, so I just feel like we need to be careful with the terms that we use that can also trigger people. I feel like even now I'm breathing heavily now because it is triggering for me, but I just feel like it can be very triggering to when we speak about stuff like this. We can't blur the lines, and I feel like sometimes that is being done sometimes. So I feel like this conversation of underaging and grooming is important. We'll see what Matthew might be saying. Who knows, he might still be being, you know, coerced or etc. But I do have a lot of empathy for Matthew, because I feel like his career has been ruined by much older men in their 50s. Then you have weird random other men who are coming out, speaking up, defending Phillip, saying, oh, homophobia. It's not homophobia, because if Phillip was with a 15-year-old girl in a restaurant, it would be a huge conversation, number one. Number two, this is about grooming. And if we are using homophobia to mask over the damage of grooming, it is significantly dangerous, because these minors will then eventually speak up when they are adults about their stories, and they should be listened to, like, massively. It's got nothing to do with homophobia in any capacity. I feel like it's a very manipulative tool to use to cover up everything, because it really eliminates what young boys go through. So as I've said in my previous videos discussing any of this, if you are a grown parent and you do have young boys and they're going to schools, sleepovers, after school clubs, just make sure where your children are and who they are with, because you don't know what could be happening. And then all of a sudden your children's behavior might change when they are with you, and you're a parent. They might be much more quieter. They're just in their rooms. They, don't really like to eat as much, or the eye contact is not there as much, or you don't see much enjoyment in them, or, they keep themselves to themselves. Their personality just completely changes, and you don't know why. Then they don't want to open up to you about it. And a lot of young boys or girls who go through significant level of sexual abuse, they won't open up about it or talk about it, because it's not easy to do. Like, it just takes over your body, and it becomes a huge trail of events that is just significant. So I just wanted to add different elements of this conversation to it. I'm keen to see what Matthew is going to say, and it's really not good news for Phillip Schofield. I'm sure that he's probably dreading it, but I'm sure that he maybe isn't. Maybe his lawyers are coercing and controlling him and are scaring him and putting him into a corner, and that's what they're doing. Because if Matthew really liked Phillip, number one, and did not feel like he was groomed by Phillip, he would have been spoken up by now. He would have defended him by now. It's been 3 weeks. He would have said something. Easily. Takes 2 seconds to give a statement. I'm pretty sure all the press are down his throat in emails and text messages and numbers outside his door. He would have easily defended him like that if he really wanted to. His silence speaks volumes, and now we're going to see what his voice is about to say. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Click that button. It is daily and consistent content. Subscribe. Click that button. We're going to see what's going to happen, guys. Looks like everything's about to begin again, and I'll catch you guys soon for another review.